but I sort of wanted it to be low because I want you to begin to see, okay, the head of the femur, the greater trochanter, and then I want you to begin to see, if we can, this ischium tuberosity, this ischium tuberosity down here, if you can see it. Is that better? It's sort of a round thing that sticks out here, right? But it's curved. So it's curved like this. And it's perfect for rocking. Okay? And that's what you want to start to think about. Now, when the pelvis from the ischium tuberosity starts to rock, if you can see my hand here, whoops, the socket is going over the head of the femur. And that was one of Feldenkrais's ideas. Often we take the head of the femur and move it around the ball in the socket. So the ball is moving around the socket here. It can go up, it can go down, it can make a circle. That's where the ball is important. But here, you're telling the socket to roll over the ball, which is a different, again, a different mind, goes to your mind differently. Goes to, therefore, the mind is sending maybe some different messages to different muscles. Okay, so, but you're getting the same action in the joint, movement. Okay, and we want movement in the joint because that's the only way we're going to keep fluid in the joint. It's the only way we're going to keep arthritis at bay, right? Okay, so it has to have some movement around each joint. And I know Suzanne said that her knees are having trouble bending. So something along those lines will keep her in port. So we do a lot with this as far as the hip joint, because we want an opening in the hip joint. But then we also want some movement through all this vertebrae here. Oops. Oops. Where are you going? Okay. So that we can count each of the vertebrae. And one of the movements that we're going to do today, if I can get this. Oh, I see what's happening. Do this. Oh, can you stay there for a minute? Okay. All right. So each of the vertebrae, there you go, up and down this vertebrae, which we've talked about. But we want to start to think as though what a finger is able to differentiate each of the vertebrae. And now the lumbar down here, of course, can't rotate. So specifically for you, Sherry, and for Liz, actually, when we do any kind of rotation of the pelvis, we want to bypass the lower back. So I call it this girdle of air. So we'll talk about that in just a minute. But we want to keep this very solid. And if there's any rotation in the pelvis, it also has to involve softening of the ribs. So it has to involve that softening of the ribs. Okay. So again, the idea is sitting on your sits bones, letting the chair take your weight, figuring out where are those hip sockets. So again, for me, they're in here more. They're not out here. Okay, so they're in here. And if you're going to just rock forward a little bit, back and forth, think very quietly. But the legs need to be very free. So the legs want to be very free. I want you to take your time and find out what you might want to do with your feet. Your feet might want to go to the outside. They might want to come in. They might want to go to the inside. Find out where those feet can be that are comfortable for you And you know they're comfortable when you're breathing easily.